Now, there's a game that's coming up this Sunday as well. And any other time you would think, man, this is probably a good game just because it's a divisional game that we know of. And recently, the Cleveland Browns, like last year, had played well, but with Joe Flacco. Now, Cincinnati and Cleveland are meeting in a divisional game this weekend. It's in Cleveland. Cincinnati's coming down to Cleveland. You know, the interstate battle, but they're both bad. And then Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow. Deshaun Watson's awful. Joe Burrow's doing something, but his team is bad. It's showing up, not showing up on the scorecard or on the record.
Right. I got to favor the Bengals big time. You know, at least they put up a fight when they play, you know, even when they lose.
Yeah.
The Browns, I don't know.
Dogs. Well, it is the dog pound. And the dogs just lay down.
And, you know, people are talking about cherry picking their best players already. People think the fire sale's on. So,
you know, I still don't know what they're going to do about Deshaun Watson. What can they do about him with that guaranteed contract? Over $200 million. You got to sit him. I mean, you got to sit him and frown. And if you get a better result, you know what? You could probably feel a little better about it. If you got a better result, you started winning with Jameis Winston, who I think can do something. That's why I wanted him for the Jets last year when they were going through their litany of futility at the quarterback spot. I was like, yo, get Jameis Winston. Well, he's there in Cleveland. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot better, but I don't think he could be bad as what Deshaun Watson is right now.
How much of his contract is guaranteed?
How much of what contract? Deshaun Watson? The entire contract.
That's just
that's what I thought when he got the contract. I was like, they got to know some inside information because this is when all of that stuff was still lingering out there. No one knew much of anything. There was a whole bunch of other allegations still coming in. So when it happened, I figured, you know what? They must know the judge or they got some serious inside scoop. Of course, it's the Cleveland Browns. It's an NFL franchise. These guys know one another. They have to know something to make a commitment like that.
Maybe it's what he knows about them.
You know, maybe some pictures. We don't know. It might be another Jerry Jones issue or whatever. But yeah, man, they was talking about when Jason Garrett was there, man. He must have some pictures of Jerry Jones. They won't get rid of him. And I think we see a lot of that right now. They're not getting rid of Deshaun Watson, at least sitting him down. Getting rid of him is just franchise suicide in terms of that salary cap, that money and all that other stuff that's going to just destroy your – well, some people think their franchise has been destroyed since the 60s anyway. So, I mean, but still.
They're not going to find any takers. They would have to eat a lot of money for somebody to agree to them unloading him.
I don't even think a team would take him if the Cleveland Browns were like, you know what, we'll pay 3/4 of his salary, man, and just get him out of our building. I don't even think there's a team that would do that. Yeah, I don't think there's a team that can really use him. What has he done?
He's not playing. He's not showing he's even worth a quarter of his contract.
He's playing like Zach Wilson. Who was running after Zach Wilson at any time other than free draft? And the only team running after him was the Jets at number 2. Outside of that, nothing else. Right now, Deshaun Watson, and now you're hearing these rumors, and there may be something to the rumors of GMs and people who know what they're talking about saying, yo, this is not the same guy. He will never get it back. And I have reason to believe it, and we've watched enough of him to know that there is reason to believe he may not get back what he had earlier when it looks like he was heading towards some type of stardom and being a star player in the NFL for the long term. You know, the personality, then the game that he played and the way he did it and the way he went about it. None of that's there now. Everything looks bad. He could have time to pass the ball and still look terrible. He's looking the way Trevor Lawrence looked a couple of weeks ago before he had his turnaround. Even though they're losing, they did win the game against Indianapolis. That's the game that he did have the turnaround. The last game, he still looked good. The rest of the team let him down, in my opinion. Just the eyeball test. But, you know, he looks a lot like that. You know, or not a lot like that. He doesn't look like that anymore. He looked like Trevor Lawrence did before all of that turned around. He's just not a good quarterback right now. And according to the executives and people who know what they're talking about, because this is their living, they don't think it's ever coming back. So we're not alone thinking something's wrong, and it's probably the end of the rope for him. It's just that there's too much money at the rainbow, and in the pot to do anything about it.
Yeah. Like I said, they're not going to get anybody to take him. That contract is a killer. Browns, yep. They probably should unload their best players and just plan for the future.
Man, it sounds like the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians. Wait till next year.